Hello, folks. Welcome to Minions of the Zoo 1432. I'm your host, Johnny Hellcat. And with me today is Minion Sanguine.
Good evening.
Minion Sanguine is today.
Good evening.
Minion Sanguine go ahead.
Good evening.
Oh, I have an echo going.
Good evening. Yes, I heard the echo as well. Not sure from who.
That's probably me. No surprise there. Anyway,
Good
so
evening all. How are you doing?
and Terry Diamantis,
Hey everyone.
Delahazed,
Hello.
and traveling exhibit the Haycam.
How's it going?
How's everyone doing?
I think I'm going to
today?
make that my new standard greeting. Just a kind of somewhat nasally, hello.
I always like the one when you meant, hey, how are ya?
Well, I guess considering what I found to talk about today, I should have went with that.
Indeed.
So, quick take two. And
No, the moment's gone.
So how are you guys doing today?
I'm doing grand. Yourself?
Not too bad. It's I'm making get to dip into food porn territory here. I'm making chicken bacon ranch.
You lost me at ranch.
You lost me at food porn.
I mean,
I'm
I
also making something interesting tonight. It's the first time I'm not only making this dish, but the first time I'm ever eating this dish as well. Because I'm making a chicken doria.
does it involve ranch at all?
No, it is...
All right, you're already pulling ahead.
So, what chicken doria is one of the weirdest goddamn origins for a dish, and I find it hilarious. Because, do you guys know that Asians tend to be the highest rate of lactose intolerant?
I did hear that, yes.
I am somewhat aware of that myself, yes.
So yeah, Asians, highest rate of lactose intolerance. The Japanese are apparently... You know how everyone has that friend who's lactose intolerant, but fucking loves cheese and will eat it anyways?
I am that friend.
Japan is apparently that on a national level.
Oh, wow.
I like
Because-
pizza. I like cheeseburgers. I like ice cream. I like a good bowl of cereal for a midnight snack. I spend a lot of time on the toilet, so yeah.
Yeah, because apparently what the Japanese did was they decided that they would make their own dish. This is entirely just Japan's creation after being exposed to the West and finding out about cheese and bechamel. And they went, this shit's delicious. So they made an entire dish that is effectively mac and cheese, substitute rice in instead of macaroni, and then throw in mushrooms and onions and various types of meat. So you can do a meat, like beef doria, you can do a chicken doria, you can do seafood dorias, but the core of the dish is a fuck ton of cheese and a cheesy bechamel.
So Wisconsin would be proud.
Yes. So tonight I'm doing a cheesy chicken doria.
Sorry,
That will
Johnny.
be
I'm eating
first
sanguine
time.
tonight.
Yeah, it's the first time ever making a doria and the first time having a doria.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
I was gonna actually try
Should be
making my.
delicious.
I was gonna try making my own ramen until I found a gluten-free ramen that my kid can probably eat. So I don't have to put the work behind it. So hooray for me!
Well, I mean, since we're talking food, the girlfriend made ribs tonight, and I had shells and cheese with it. So
Excellent.
yes. What about you, Terry? What'd you order out for?
I just had leftover pizza from yesterday, so I finished that off.
Hey. Any particular kind? Please don't say pineapple. Please don't say pineapple.
I am not a heathen. I did not have pineapple on the pizza. I couldn't tell you what was on it because
I'm gonna stare at everyone who thinks that it's heathenistic. So everyone here.
But,
hey, I'm judging you just as harshly, Johnny. Don't even start with that staring shit.
I couldn't tell you what was on it because they gave it a stupid name. Like there was one that was like the Costanza, one was the Raging Bull. So I don't know. Like there was chicken and some sort of sauce on it. It was basically blind luck. I just saw the name, go, yeah, that sounds fine, and
sounds like buffalo chicken or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
No, clearly just a minced up, balding, fat Jewish man.
I don't know. I don't know why it's called the Costanza. I don't know where George Costanza comes into the equation, but that's what they named the pizza for some reason.
Maybe it's a reference to shrinkage. Maybe they're giving you less pizza for the same price.
Or, like I said, it's just that he's one of the primary ingredients.
Well, I'm pretty sure Jason Alexander's still alive, so I doubt it.
I mean, I haven't seen him in a while. The last time I saw him was like an episode of Criminal Minds.
No, it's kind of like...
I don't watch a lot of TV anymore either, so...
It's kind of like when you go back to the old Jimmy Dean commercials. You guys remember the Jimmy Dean breakfast sandwich commercials, right?
Nope.
So Jimmy Dean started...
Depends on which one you were talking about.
The eggs come from real chickens. The milk comes from real cows. The meat comes from Jimmy Dean. Do they have a fat man named Jimmy Dean in the back of a factory somewhere and they're just hacking bits of him off to make sausages? What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah,
and that's what I get in my mind with the Costanza.
That sounds a bit disturbing.
Yeah, I'm really wondering, can I go to one of their locations and meet the meat like it's a goddamn restaurant at the end of the universe?
Wow. Good reference. I wouldn't have thought of that.
He just gets wheeled out, starts recommending the rump roast to me.
I haven't read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, like any of the books in the series, in such a long time.
I mean, I only saw the movie the once, so...
Depends which movie you saw. The
one with Alan Rickman.
Oh, okay. The BBC miniseries was actually quite good. I didn't like that movie, the Alan Rickman.
See, I can enjoy all of the different renditions of it because they did something unbelievably right, thanks to Douglas Adams, which is every single iteration hits some of the same major plot points, but they will be in a different order due to different causes. So you get very similar stories. There will always be a Marvin the Paranoid Android. There will always be Ford Prefect and Arthur Dent and Zaphod Beeblebrox and Trillion. But will they get to the restaurant at the end of the universe because the ship, the Heart of Gold, malfunctioned and that's where the infinite improbability drive took them? Will they go there because the computers bank on I'm blanking on the name of the planet and I don't know why. Megalathea. The computer bank on Megalathea overloaded. Will they get there because Marvin the Paranoid Android talked to the police ship, causing it to commit suicide and killing off the police that were arresting them, and they just go there to lay low for a bit? It changes depending on which version it is.
See, I think the problem for me is, as a kid, I watched the BBC miniseries so many times that that is what the characters look like to me. Like, that is their official represent. So watching the movies, like, look, that looks nothing like Arthur Dent. That looks nothing like what's his name? Ford
Ford Prefect.
Fairfax. Ford Fairlane? No, what's it?
Ford Prefect.
Ford Prefect. Yeah.
Yeah, Ford Fairlane is a car.
Yeah. So it's the Ford Prefect.
I
Like,
knew a guy that had a Fairlane. Never knew a dude that had a prefix. So
No, the whole joke was that he's an alien and he mistakenly thinks that Ford Prefect is a nice inconspicuous name because he's seen Ford Prefects like cars all over the place.
But yeah, and the fact that they change it up every time was fantastic because that meant that, unlike with most book renditions, you aren't going, well, the book was better, because you're going, okay, these are the same story told differently, and they're supposed to be, because the radio show is different than the book, is different than the BBC miniseries, is different than the first movie, is different than the newest movie, is different than every other version. So you can just sit down and enjoy whichever version you're watching for its own merit.
Yeah, I think the only issue is, as I said, as a kid, I rented the BBC miniseries from the video shop like so many times that my brain just associates those actors with those roles, and so seeing, I can't even remember the guy's name. The guy who played a Hobbit and was Arthur Dent.
Martin Freeman.
Yes,
yeah, him. Like, I see him and I don't think of him as Arthur Dent. Like, he just that's not the image my brain associates with Arthur Dent anymore. So that's kind of where I came undone with it.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that aspect, especially the renting it too many times, because that just reminded me of all the things that I just kept on renting again and again at the Blockbuster when I was young.
Well, we didn't have Blockbusters. I went to Video Easy, and Easy was EZY. So, that was There was a game, Earthworm Jim. I rented that every week until I finished it. It would have been cheaper to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
But as a kid, that didn't factor into things. It was like, no, I'm gonna rent this game and I'm gonna beat it. Every weekend.
We had a place months here called Video Excitement. It was the exact same thing. The money we spent renting games, we could have bought them.
There are so many things that I remember just because I kept on getting them again and again and again. Some of them I know the names to. Others I know the description, and I have no clue what the fuck they're called. So they're just this memory that constantly mocks me and my inability to go back and find them and see what they're like.
I had the most amazing thing happen like years ago, because as a kid I played a game and I had this vivid memory of the game. I did not remember the name of it, and then GOG, Good Old Games. Mm-hmm. I was just scrolling through that and I was like, wait, this is the game. Holy fuck, this is the game. And it was Tex Murphy, Mean Streets. And so I bought it on the spot. It was like $2. And I installed it and I played it. Holy fuck, I found it after 20 years.
Yeah, I have one of the things that I remember the name of. So I now own it, and I still have just as much fun watching it now as I did then, despite it being objectively bad. Surf Ninjas.
I've never seen that.
Have any of you ever seen Surf Ninjas?
Is that the one with like the 3 Asian boys?
It's Leslie Nielsen is the big bad, and it's a older brother who is supposed to be in his like late teens, a young brother who's supposed to be about like 11 or something, and then Rob
Schneider.
Was it Rob Schneider, or was it? There's another actor that had Rob in his name, but I think it was Rob Schneider. Was their best friend the two brothers were apparently the heirs of this kingdom that Leslie Nielsen had taken over.
Oh yeah, it is Rob Schneider. Holy shit, I forgot. I forgot who's in there.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a young Rob Schneider.
Yep. And the older brother's really good at fighting just because he's prophesized to be. The younger brother is able to predict the future using his Game Gear. And also control certain fights in the movie. So one of the scenes, he forces his brother to use chopsticks as a weapon. But yeah, it's just an objectively bad, what the fuck is going on movie, but it is amazing because of it.
I was going to say, it sounds like it's the good kind of bad movie.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is. And that was one of the ones that I remember watching, and I was able to find it years later.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that since the 90s. When did that come out? Hold on one second. That was 93.
Yeah. Early 90s. Then there's one thing that I've been able to find the title of, but I can't find the actual thing for it. I can't find a DVD or anything. And now I'm trying to remember what the name of it was. Because I know it included Egghead in the name, but it was something weirder than just Egghead. It was like the Journeys of Egghead or something along those lines.
Hmm.
And it was this... Go ahead.
No, I just said it's not ringing any bells for me.
Yeah, me neither.
This is something that I don't think it would ring any bells for anyone other than my siblings and myself, because I'm pretty sure we're the only three that would ever rent this goddamn thing. It was kind of like a contemporary of Bill Nye the Science Guy, then Beekman's World, and then this one was another one that was trying to compete with those two.
Oh, okay.
And it was, again, like logic things and bits of information, weird shit like that. I had a hell of a lot of fun watching it. Can't find it. I've found the actual name. I have it recorded somewhere. Tried to find a DVD or anything of it. It does not fucking exist as far as I can tell.
We had a show similar called The Curiosity Show that was like Australian. And I forgot all about it until Jack Gunsky, of all people, was like, "Did you ever watch this as a show?" And he sent me like a YouTube clip. He was like, yes, I did.
Nice.
Well, speaking of like weird stuff and whatnot, Mr. S posted something in chat that I actually had brought up. Bill Clinton is in the hospital and he doesn't have COVID. You know what he's got, guys?
Syphilis?
A urological infection that developed into sepsis.
Oh.
Yeah. So, I mean, who had Bill Clinton's dick finally rots off for their 2021 bingo card?
So the question is...
Step up now and claim your prize.
Was Hillary the cause?
I don't think Hillary's been the cause of any of Bill's urological conditions for a very, very long time.
Oh, I'm not saying sleeping with her is a cause. I'm saying, did she do something to his dick in order to make it so that she doesn't have to worry about him sticking it in anyone else anymore?
It had information on her arrest.
Now I just have the image of Hillary Clinton with like a lab coat on, developing like some kind of super gonorrhea in some bunker somewhere. Thanks, Sanguine.
You're welcome. Do you know how many times I've had to cover up one of your indiscretions?
I mean, he's 75. I imagine, you know, the syphilis would have done its work on its own eventually. I mean, Al Capone was only 48 when he died, so Bill's been playing with house money for, 3 decades now. But yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, wow, that is some news. That reminds me of that Chappelle joke about how Monica would be the most famous cocksucker of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, his dick is still in the news almost 3 decades later. I think he pretty well nailed that one. Chappelle with a joke, not Bill and Monica, obviously.
I know. Both cases, he pretty much nailed that one. Worked out.
No, that was just spinach dip.
That is still the most disgusting part of that story I've heard. And I've heard that story so many fucking times in my life.
Just the fact that someone kept the cum-stained dress around. Didn't go and get it laundered, just kept it around because it might be useful.
Well, have you guys seen that meme from I guess it's supposed to be like a Goofy movie scene or whatever? Like his son Max is in some chick's room and it's just disgusting. He's like, "Damn, bitch, you live like this?"
Mm-hmm.
That's what I have to imagine. Which one was it? That was it Linda Tripp? I imagine her like walking into Monica's apartment, seeing that dress, like, "Damn, bitch, really?"
Mm-hmm. And speaking of Chappelle, you've of course heard the fur around that, right?
I have. I still haven't watched the special yet, just because I have. Johnny and I have done so many of those torture streams. I'm kind of burnt out on stand-up, even when I know it's like from somebody that's supposed to be good.
In fact, I have an article that I was going to bring up for that.
Oh, then let's go to your article and we can talk about it through that.
All right.
I figure I'll get around to watching the Chappelle special after I finish binging The Man in the High Castle. So probably sometime this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I think of Dave Chappelle, I often come up with the question, "Dear Dave Chappelle, transgender comedians can take a joke, but why are yours so unfunny?"
Well, the title's already a lie.
Yep.
And this is a very long letter / whatever.
Who? Dahlia Bell.
Yeah, pretty much all of it is her bitching that she isn't as famous, but trying to make it look like she isn't bitching that she isn't as famous.
Oh, Johnny, this is from The Guardian. Why do you have this trash up here?
Because it's The Guardian. And it's garbage. It's self-evident. It's right there.
Do you mean to tell me that The Guardian isn't the height of journalistic integrity?
I vacillate between saying it's one step above and one step below the Medium articles that Frosted reads on Friday nights.
Those are awesome. Those are the best ever.
But yeah, that's where I would rank it on the level of journalistic integrity, Sanguine.
Dear Dave, we're both comedians. I guess that makes me a member of your tribe. I'm sure you've never heard of me, though I can think of at least 3 reasons for that. I'm black, I'm a woman, and I'm transgender.
I only have one. You're not funny. If you were, we would have heard of you.
And imagine going to Dave Chappelle and saying, "You probably haven't heard of me because I'm black."
Yeah, right.
Don't we black people all know each other?
I'm just impressed by the unmitigated gall of doing that. Going to fucking Dave Chappelle. "Yeah, you probably don't know about me. I'm black. It's not like you would know any black comedians."
I love the very next paragraph. "No, I'm writing in hopes. I'm not writing in hopes of someday opening for you. Are you sure about that?"
Oh, she wouldn't stand a chance of opening for him.
Well,
she's writing for the press.
And if you listen to the stand-up, he actually talks about the gal that opened for him.
Mm-hmm. Which, it sounds like you know the story behind that. Does everyone else know the story behind that?
I don't know the full story, no. I do know that he did have a friend in comedy that was a trans individual that did open for him. I know that part of the story. I don't know the whole deal.
So, she opened for him, and it caused her to get a massive amount of backlash from the trans community.
Was this before or after Sticks and Stones?
I think this was... She opened for him for Sticks and Stones, wasn't it?
I think it was before Sticks and Stones.
Okay, it was before.
But didn't she also like come out in support of him when they were giving him the backlash for Sticks and Stones?
She came out in support of him, saying, the jokes are funny, don't be so goddamn sensitive. Hell, I'm a trans person, and I'm not getting offended. I know where his jokes are coming from. He's trying to laugh with us, not at us. And they pursued this person to the point where they ultimately committed suicide.
Yeah, they tore into that.
Which was the impetus behind a good chunk of this special. Was him talking about, yeah, I had this friend. Fucking hilarious. Great comic. I'm not going to spoil the joke that he tells about this because it is deliciously dark. And if you haven't heard it, my God, you need to go hear this fucking joke.
We couldn't do it justice.
Yeah. He just tells this amazing dark joke about this entire ordeal at the end of the special. And it's him talking about how, yeah, it kind of fucked him up that his friend, who was a trans person himself, who was funny as hell, was driven to suicide by these fucking people. That's what a good chunk of the point of this special was. It was him making jokes, kind of steering it towards that, and working through the this is fucked on stage, all while doing it in a humorous fashion, so it wasn't the Hannah Gadsby, I was raped, without any joke, just her saying that she was raped.
That's still the best joke I've ever heard.
I mean, who the fuck would rape her, really? But, yeah, it was him working through that, so they drove her to commit suicide. Which is fucked up. Let's continue on with the article, just so that everyone now knows what we're referring to with that.
Let's see here.
We were on like paragraph 2 there, weren't we?
See. In fact, I can't think of anything I've ever wanted that you could possibly offer me. Least of all, an apology. I don't need an apology for all the trans jokes. I'm over 40 years old, and you think I've never heard a trans joke? Years before I knew trans was an available identity, I knew trannies were punchlines. And that's what got me, my peers, salty about your latest special, The Closer. Are you sure it was that got you the salt?
One of the other things that was done during this was, and this isn't spoiling any jokes, nor is it spoiling anything from the special, so I don't have a problem saying this. At the end, he says, yeah, I'm done making jokes about y'all. I like to make jokes about people that they know that I'm laughing with them, and they're laughing with me, and they can bullshit with me, I can bullshit with them. That's fun. That's healthy. That's how shit should be. I'm done making jokes about you guys. I'm done trying to laugh with you guys until such time as you're willing to come and laugh with me.
Let's see. I'm legitimately thankful for Chappelle's special for one reason. I've always been a bit self-conscious of that the first 15 minutes of my hour special are trans jokes. But now
I love how they have a hyperlink to that special too.
That might let's take a it's on Spotify.
You do realize that you're the first person to have ever clicked on that link, right?
It's a trap.
Oh, Johnny.
Literally.
Ah, shit. Let's see. That might be a new that's a new stream right there.
You're going to get in the wrong channel banned tonight, Johnny. Tread carefully.
Let's see. Our but now that he spent over an hour on LGBTQ people, I feel pretty good, said Robin Tran. Or as my friend and fellow comedian Jeffrey J put, each time I hear Dave Chappelle has a special, I feel sad. Not because I know trans jokes are coming, but because I know the same trans jokes are coming. Or you're just a oversensitive puss.
Yeah, because none of those jokes that I can remember were rehashings of his previous specials jokes. They all seem to be just kind of going right in line with new content for the new special.
I mean, aside from this newest special, I think I've seen all of his, specials he's had recorded for, video at least.
Mm-hmm.
The only one I know of him having any trans jokes on was like that Sticks and Stones one.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a double special, right? The other one?
No, that was the one.
Oh no, that was the
before
one
that.
before that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I only recall him having like the one special where he did any type of jokes about trans people before now. Mm-hmm. So I want to know, like, how can it all be the same jokes? I mean, really?
And also, there's kind of the implication that they're accusing him of almost joke theft in that. That it's the same jokes as everyone else has been making for generations, effectively.
I gotta admit, I don't know a lot of jokes about trans people, Well, I mean, the only real joke I had heard about any type of trans deal was people referencing like the crying game. That was about it. Before
Also, Eddie Izzard. I know
Eddie Izzard
jokes.
Yeah, Dress to Kill. Like those are the two references I have for any kind of. I don't
know if it counts, but Ace Ventura, where
Finkel is Einhorn. Yeah,
the chick was a guy all along. Yeah.
And by that count, then you also have Austin Powers.
Wait, which Austin Powers one?
The first one. It's a man, baby.
I never took that as a trans joke. I always took that as a undercover spy joke. Yeah. If that was a trans joke, that went way over my head every time I saw Austin Powers.
Mm-hmm.
So, I plead ignorance.
Yeah, I was the same. I took that as a joke about her looking like a masculine woman, like therefore not very attractive.
Well, the part that I loved about that was there was the cutaway between when you first saw that character, then when he punched them. Because the first one, it is clearly a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Then once he punches them, he's down with like a full fucking mustache.
Oh, like the 5 o'clock shadow or whatever.
Yep.
Let's see here. Watching The Closer reminded me of just how influential you have been on my early stand-up and understanding of comedy. Your formulaic joke structure and all too predictable edgelord punchlines took me right back to my very first year performing at open mics. But hey, you've been doing this for 33 years. It's no small achievement. It only makes sense that you might run out of new ideas. Even so, as a longtime fan, something I've always admired about your comedy is your ability to push boundaries and challenge norms.
Wait,
now
so
it's current year.
Formulaic joke structure. So, first off, that's the first time that I've really heard anyone accuse Dave Chappelle of having a formulaic joke structure.
He literally had one special where he told you the punchline before the setup, and it still got laughs.
Yeah.
It's not Dave Chappelle is not Jerry Seinfeld. It isn't, what's the deal with jokes constantly. I've never heard anyone accuse Chappelle of formulaic joke structure. And then also, immediately after that, say, I've always admired your ability to change. Well, which the fuck is it? Are you admiring his ability to change, or does he have a formulaic joke structure?
They didn't say they had the ability to change, but the ability to push boundaries and challenge norms with a formulaic joke structure, apparently.
Which, that to me...
But now that it's 2021 and that structure and those boundaries and norms are pointed at you, now it's bitter old men griping about progress.
And I'm still... You can't really push boundaries with a formulaic joke structure.
Yeah, I guess it's The Guardian. It's trash. None of this is supposed to make sense.
Yeah.
Maybe he just does do. What's the deal with boundary pushing?
And here's the promo.
I think that's hilarious that they put that in there.
Let's see.
Like I said, I'm pretty sure that you're the first person to have clicked on that link.
Oh, here we go. Let's see here. On behalf of the trans community, I'll go ahead and address your weakest defenses. How much do you have to participate in my self-image? Not at all. I just want you to shut up, you said. You shouldn't discuss this in front of black people. Why, Dave? Why shouldn't you discuss this in front of black people? Capital B. Did you once again imagine all trans people, lowercase t, are white, lowercase w? Or do you assume that there is some inherent danger awaiting us among the larger, capital B, black community? And why might that be? Regardless, neither explanation sits well with me. You've asked, why is it easier for Bruce Jenner to change his gender than it is for Cassius Clay to change his name? That's because Muhammad Ali changed his name in 1964, whereas Caitlyn Jenner changed his gender in 2015 after killing a woman. Other factors in Jenner's favor include living in California and almost killing a woman. And killing a woman. And most importantly, being rich and famous like you, Kevin Hart, and DaBaby.
Which, do you guys know why he brought up DaBaby?
No.
Well, that's...
I've only heard that name in passing online, and I don't care to look them up.
DaBaby literally killed a man in public, broad daylight, still had a career.
At a Walmart.
Yes, he killed a man, broad daylight, in a Walmart, still had a career. He said something against the LGBT movement, and people started canceling him. And Chappelle was going, are you fucking kidding me? You murder a man broad daylight. Yeah, your career's safe. You said something nasty about trans people? That's the end.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing with like John Gruden and his emails, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Randy Moss ran a bitch over. Antonio Brown, accused of rape. Ben Roethlisberger, multiple charges. Not charges like legally, but multiple accusations of rape. They're still, Hall of Fame in the league, what have you. But John Gruden wrote some spicy emails back in the day.
And from the sounds of it, they didn't even sound like overtly racist.
I haven't read any of the emails.
Yeah,
I don't know if they've been publicly available or not. But until they are, I'm not gonna sit there and say, oh yeah, he should definitely lose his job.
They are available from what I've seen, and I've read one of them, which was supposedly the worst of them, which had him say something along the lines of the man has lips the size of Goodyears.
Michelin's is what I heard.
Oh, Michelin's. Okay.
Oh, the NFL Players Association president. I can't remember his name now.
Yeah, and he's given an explanation for what he meant by that, which, believe it or not, that's entirely up to each person to decide.
I have no idea what his supposed justification was for it. I just know that I've never heard anyone reference anybody's lips in relation to tires.
Yeah, that's a first for me as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard people reference, somebody having lips like a different animal, or, what one might be able to do proficiently with said lips, in regards to their size. But I've never heard anyone compare it to, car shoes. So,
yeah, from what I heard his defense of that was that he was saying that someone was refusing to speak up about something, and he went, well, are you fucking surprised about that? I mean, the motherfucker has lips the size of Michelin's. And according to him, he was saying that, yeah, his completely lipped. He's not speaking. And that's what he was saying, that it was meant to be taken that way. Now, that's a weird defense, but that's
it was meant that he was tight-lipped?
Well, that he wasn't saying anything, and that he wouldn't ever say anything, and you shouldn't expect him to say anything. And his way of saying that was he has lips the size of Michelin's. So how the fuck could he even say anything?
Okay, it's
but a weird defense.
I mean, since we're on the subject of emails, I do have a story involving emails. If Johnny's done with the Chappelle Guardian love note.
We are done with the love note.
Do you want me to go ahead and post this in chat for the viewers?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do the article, and it has hyperlinks, if I'm not mistaken, to the audio. But I came across this story yesterday when
Is the top one?
Yeah. The top one is the article. Oh, yeah. And there's a link for the chat. But I thought this would be good for me and Johnny to talk about because it involves an engine.
Joe did something?
No. It's been a while since I read my Huck Finn or anything, so I forgot. Didn't he die on the river?
I think so, yeah. It was either that or I was going to reference the crying Indian who was actually Italian.
Oh no, I put the audio in the chat. Sorry, guys. But a Yale law student sends a lighthearted email inviting classmates to his, quote, trap house. The school is now calling him to account. In leaked audio, administration officials allege his membership in the Conservative Federalist Society is triggering and oppressive. This is a second-year Yale law student at the center of this. And administrators at Yale Law School spent weeks pressuring a student to apologize for a triggering email in which he referred to his apartment as a trap house, a slang term for a place where people buy drugs. Part of what made the email triggering, the administrators told the student, was his membership in a conservative organization. The second-year law student, a member of both the Native American Law Students Association and the Conservative Federalist Society, had invited classmates to an event co-hosted by the two groups. We will be christening our very own, soon-to-be, world-renowned Nalsa Trap House by throwing a Constitution Day bash in collaboration with FedSoc, he wrote in a September 15th email to the Native American listserv. In keeping with the theme, he said the mixer would serve American-themed snacks like Popeye's chicken and apple pie. And if you scroll down, there's a screenshot of the message he sent. It says, "Sup, NALSA. Hope you're all still feeling social. This Friday at 7:30, we'll be christening our very own, soon-to-be world-renowned NALSA Trap House, and redacted, by throwing a Constitution Day bash in collaboration with FedSoc. Planned attractions include Popeye's chicken, basic bitch American-themed snacks like apple pie, etc., a cocktail station, assorted hard and soft beverages, and most importantly, the opportunity to attend the NALSA Trap House's inaugural mixer. Hope to see you there." Well, to be honest, I'd only ever heard of a trap house in regards to that one podcast with the Chapo Trap House, which I think is referenced also in this article. I've never listened to that podcast. That's the only time I've heard it referenced. I don't listen to the hippity hops very much, so really don't know what's going on there. But this young Cherokee individual got called into a meeting with an associate dean, and associate dean Ellen Cosgrove and diversity director Yassine Eldick, which they told the student the word trap connotes crack use, hip hop, and blackface.
So would have he been better off if he was a Blackfoot?
Well, no, it does say underneath the screenshot that the student who requested anonymity for fear of retaliation is part Cherokee, the Indian tribe that was forcibly displaced during the infamous Trail of Tears. Johnny, why don't my people ever get any love in these stories?
Because it's always the big three.
The Cherokee are the only tribe that have more people than us, if I'm not mistaken. We're number 2 or number 3. We never get any love.
Yeah, it's always Cherokee. Let's see, Lakota, or fucking Navajo.
Fucking Navajo. Within minutes, the lighthearted invite had been screenshotted and shared to an online forum for all second-year students, several of whom alleged the term trap house indicated a blackface party.
What?
From who?
Well, here's the thing. This is the Native American Law Students Association mixer. Why would the Native American law students want to throw a blackface party? And you know what I think is really hilarious is the fact that this person is Cherokee, and they're not bringing that up in their complaints about it being racist.
You know,
because how many times have I brought it up, Johnny? The last Confederate general to surrender was a Cherokee named Stand Watie.
I don't think we have gone a stream without it being mentioned.
I do like to bring it up. Yes.
Well, and I don't know how they made this this connection. Oh, you know what this party's missing? Al Jolson.
Or Ted Danson.
Or C. Thomas Howell.
Or Robert Downey Jr.
Sarah Silverman.
Justin Trudeau.
Jimmy Kimmel.
The list goes on and on.
We can go on forever.
Do you know who's not normally on a list of, hey, they got caught doing blackface? Indians.
and if you wanted to include a couple more, I believe Tommy Davidson did it too.
Isn't Tommy Davidson black?
Yes. And he did that movie Bamboozled.
Well, I mean, if we're really going to go that far, we got to count Eddie Griffin and Deuce Bigalow 2, European Gigolo 2.
That is very true.
I mean, if those count, I think we're starting to get a little lax with the term blackface, though.
Yeah, we might as well just throw it all in there.
Wouldn't that be hilarious if Eddie Griffin got canceled for doing blackface? You did blackface in that movie with that conservative actor Rob Schneider. You're canceled, Eddie. We don't care if you did Undercover Brother.
That'd be like trying to cancel Gene Wilde for silver streak.
Here's what a quote somebody said. I guess celebrating whiteness wasn't enough. The president of the Black Law Student Association wrote in the forum, y'all had to upgrade a cosplay / blackface. This was a 4th of July party that they were throwing. So it's automatically celebrating whiteness. Like, there was a bunch of infractions here, but this article focuses on the association with, the Federalist Society and the term trap house. And there are 2 recordings that this person made while talking to the associate dean and the diversity director. And listening to those just reminds me why I'm glad that I didn't pursue higher education. Because you got worms like these people in charge of stuff. The president of the Black Law Student Association. She also objected to the mixer's affiliation with the Federal Society, which she said has historically supported anti-black rhetoric. Trap house has been a term used in progressive pop culture since at least 2016, when the socialist podcast Chapo Trap House burst onto the scene. Hosted by 3 white men, the podcast has received sympathetic profiles in the New York Times, the New Yorker, and the Guardian, none of which suggest that there is anything racial about its name. Once associated with inner-city crack dens, trap house has also become generic slang for any place where young people can score beer. Again, I don't really care what trap house means. But we get into like the timeline of all this. And this was, again, like September 15th. Just 12 hours after the email went out, the student was summoned to the law school's Office of Student Affairs, which administrators said had received 9 discrimination and harassment complaints about his message. At a September 16th meeting,
all
which
from
the student recorded. At a September 16th meeting, which the student recorded and shared with the Washington Free Beacon, Associate Dean Ellen Cosgrove and Diversity Director Yassine Eldick told the student that the word trap connotes crack use, hip-hop, and blackface. Those triggering associations, Eldick said, were compounded by the fried chicken reference, which is often used to undermine arguments that structural and systemic racism has contributed to racial health disparities in the U.S. You think Indians don't like fried chicken? That's fucking racist.
Also, I'm sorry. Have you seen what these people eat? If you eat a bunch of fried food and fatty food, yeah, you're probably going to have more heart issues than otherwise. Are you saying that black people eat fried food? You're the one who said shit like this.
Indians literally have a food called fry bread, okay?
It's just flour, grease, and shit mixed together.
We'll fry anything too, man. Don't get it twisted.
And you lot aren't the only ones with fried bread.
What do you mean, you lot? Hold up now. We get to make those jokes. We've got cards.
But yeah.
Mine hasn't been printed yet, but it's coming.
I was half hoping that you were about to flip on a camera and it was just going to be like a white
like John
sheet of
Redcorn?
paper. No, I was hoping that was just going to be a white sheet of paper. Indian.
No, man, I've got my CDIB and my tribal membership card. I carry. Eldick, a former Obama White House official. God fucking damn it. Wow. Went on to say that the student's membership in the Federal Society had triggered his peers. The email's association with FedSoc was very triggering for students who already feel like FedSoc belongs to political affiliations that are oppressive to certain communities. Eldick said. That, of course, obviously includes the alphabet people community and black communities and immigrant communities. You know whose feelings weren't considered in this whole debacle? Indians! Everybody but Indians and white people.
So are you saying that one of the early defenses should have been, you're on occupied land?
Well, I'm sorry, I don't...
Outwoke them.
I mean, yeah, if I were this kid, that's exactly what I would have done. I would have just been like, listen, you guys don't get to tell me shit, okay? I got a card. I carry, all right? You think I give a fuck about immigrant communities? Yeah. Like,
If you want to start this lecturing of me, first I think it's important that you all acknowledge you're on occupied land.
if you want to lecture me, learn Choctaw first. And then you know, when I see you're that committed to this, maybe I'll hear you out. The statement signals that administrators at the country's top-ranked law school now regard membership in mainstream conservative circles as a legitimate object of offense and as potential grounds for discipline. The Federalist Society, founded by Yale law students in 1982, has spread. This is founded in 1982. Has spread nationwide over the past 4 decades and become one of the most influential legal groups in the country. Members include all 6 conservative justices on the Supreme Court, as well as the late Antonin Scalia, who spoke at the Society's inaugural conference. Do you guys see why they have a problem with it now? If this was just the Native American Law Student Association, nobody would have said shit. But there's also that second one I put in. There's a timeline that they break down. So if you don't want to actually listen to the however long it was it the first one's 23 minutes 18 seconds, and the second one is a minute 46. But they have like timestamps for this stuff. You know, like within the first minute of the kid recording, this dude explains why Trap House is triggering and racialized. Makes reference to the fried chicken having been used to undermine yada yada. Oh, and they do reference the fact that this, you know, because this kid's Cherokee, they say at the 5-minute mark, they say the student is told, as a man of color, there probably isn't as much scrutiny of you as there might be of a white person in the same position.
This just reminds me of back when the Black Lives Matter shit was starting up. I want to say the first or second time, and there was the Trap boba tea place that got harassed.
Oh, that was not too long ago. That was what? Was that 2019 or 2020? I mean, that wasn't very long ago.
Like 18 or 19.
Okay. I mean, I could be wrong internet time. But yeah, no, that was not very long ago in actual linear time. Yeah.
And it was the black woman going in, yelling at the Asians.
Wait, it was actually a black woman?
Yep, it was a black woman that went in and was yelling at the Asians that ran Trap Boba Tea because she thought this was a black-owned business, but all she's seeing is all these goddamn Asians. And I think she said goddamn Asians. Or worse when she was in the rant. But she was just flipping out about how the hell is Trap Boba Tea not black owned and operated. You should be ashamed. You need to change your name. You need to just give the business to a black person.
But yeah, they then bring up, you know, after telling him that, you know, because he's, you know, a colored person, he's not going to get as much heat. They bring up the Federal Society being triggering. And then they say how his office has received complaints that the student's email was a form of discrimination and, quote, psychically harmful. Psychically harmful for people who are in at least their 5th year of university level education.
Yeah.
6th year. Pardon me, 6th year. This is a 2nd year law student.
There's something that I wish would be instituted in universities. And that's when something like this happens, the proper response should be, oh, we're terribly sorry. We thought that you were mature enough to actually pursue your education at this moment. We realize that we've made a mistake. You will be allowed back later on, but for the time being, you're no longer part of this school. To the people that are bitching and moaning that someone said something I don't like. Sorry, sweetheart. This is college. This is university. You're going to hear other opinions. You're going to hear things that you don't agree with. The point is that you're supposed to develop the skills to actually argue against that, to be able to process what your opponent's saying and figure out what the fuck's going on, not just, I don't like it, get them to shut up.
Well, see, it just keeps going, though, because it's, like I said, this is over a 20-minute long clip. And after telling them about the complaints they've received, at about the 10-minute mark, he starts getting, pressuring the kid to apologize. And that's when I really started perking up, was because they kept pushing that, he, draft an email to, get this behind him. And I'm glad the kid didn't immediately just say, "Oh yeah, sure, fine, whatever." He drug his feet. He's like, "Man, I've been really tired, with everything going on and whatnot, and just kind of exhausted. I need some time to think about it." The associate dean then tells the kid, they both tell him, they propose to address the apology to the leaders of the Black Law Students Association specifically. The dean then warns him that these things amplify over time, so apologizing quickly is important for your sake. And then the kid, he's like, if these people got a problem with it, why don't they just come to me? Why do I need to send out this form letter? Why do you guys need to do anything about it? Why can't they just come to me? And the diversity guy's response is, "I don't want to make our office look like an ineffective source of resolution." It's like, yeah, you're trying to justify you having a job in the first place, asshole. Your job to be so easy. You just said, "Hey, why don't you take it up with him?" Have you guys thought of that? Maybe you guys could come to a resolution before I had to step in and do something.
And again, for anything like this, where it's, well, I was offended by what they said. Okay, let's look at what they said. Was what they said actually offensive? If the answer is no, then the proper response should be, "Oh, sorry you feel that way. Would you like to terminate your time at this university?" Not silencing the person who that person's bitching about, but if you're unable to actually process being part of this university, do you want to cancel your time at this university? We will cancel your time at this university. No problem. No harm, no foul. We'll make sure that you're removed from all your classes immediately and that you're able to go about with your life in the way that you see fit.
But yeah, they keep pushing too. And the diversity guy tells them that he's received 8 or 9 student complaints, and tells them the best way to make this all go away would be to apologize. He says an apology would give the student, quote, character-driven rehabilitation. And I listened to this whole thing, and I still don't know what exactly he's supposed to be, rehabilitating his character for. He sent an email that some people didn't like. Boo fucking who?
Mm-hmm.
At the 15-minute mark, he says that he worries about the email affecting the student's reputation, not just here, but when you leave. The legal community is a small one, end quote. Then he volunteers to help him draft the email. He's literally saying, I'll write this whole thing. All you got to do is put your name on it and hit send.
Mm-hmm.
Cosgrove, the assistant dean, warns that escalation is a possibility if the student doesn't apologize. And they go on to remind him, like, "Hey, man, you got to take the bar exam, once you graduate." And there apparently, with the bar exam comes some character evaluation as well. But yeah,
character evaluation.
Some serious,
Man,
serious shit of just like, do this or else.
I wish I was in the position to do the character assessment, because one of the main criteria is, did you apologize for something that you didn't need to apologize for, or that you shouldn't have apologized for? Oh, yeah, you don't have the proper moral fortitude.
Well, the diversity director, because Gunsky says this is sounding more like a pussy mob. The diversity director, the Obama guy, he sounded like a Weasley little shit. And I imagine that the Associate Dean Cosgrove, I imagine she probably did have more testosterone than he did. But that just reminds me, like, man, if I'd been this kid, I feel like I would have just been like, fuck them and you. And that would have been the end of the meeting. I can't for the life of me. This kid's got some patience, because he sat there for 20 plus minutes and listened to them ramble the fuck on. I don't think I would have been able to tolerate it.
Yeah, probably not.
And because I would have been asking way more questions than he was too. Like, so which part is the triggering part? The Federalist Society? You mean the one that all 6 of the Supreme Court justices that are conservatives have ties to? Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's triggering. Mainstream conservatism is triggering. They did bring up that he was in a Republican group as well. That didn't seem to be triggering. They didn't mention shit about the fact that this was a Native American shindig that was being co-hosted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't even the primary group.
Yeah, they were co-hosting because this kid is a part of both groups.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently he's, something to do with the Native American one. Yeah, exactly, Spud. And saying sorry is admitting guilt, and they'd ripped him apart. And especially sending an email. You mean where they screenshot and everything that email inviting people to the mixer. You think they're not going to have screenshots of that email going forward to hold over his head?
Yeah, I would never apologize for anything that I'm not sorry for.
And thankfully, this kid didn't. He had the presence of mind to go ahead and record it, which, I mean, I imagine him being a second-year law student, he realizes that he can do that in that jurisdiction. I don't remember where Yale is located, but I imagine it's going to be in a state where you only need one-party consent.
Let's see, Yale is in Connecticut.
So, I mean, another thing that I would have done differently is, like, I would have had the cell phone out on the table, and I would have let them see me press record first. Like, all right, now tell me what's wrong. I think Princeton's in New Jersey, Valine.
And yes, Connecticut is a single-party consent state.
Yeah. But
Just double-check that.
I mean, like I said, the kid had the presence of mind to do that. So this is supposed to be like the top-ranked law school in the country, and they're not sending their best to mind the mind the administration.
And yes, it is Princeton that's in New Jersey.
The only reason I know that's because of House.
Mm-hmm.
The fictional Princeton Plainsboro teaching hospital. But yeah.
I just pulled it up to double check because I am terrible at remembering where these schools are located.
Just think about this, folks. Think about this in Shudder. One of the 8 or 9 students that sent the complaints could end up on the Supreme Court one day.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, anytime that a student comes up with I'm offended by what someone said, if it isn't actually offensive, if it isn't, like if someone came up and said, I'm offended that I was called insert racial slur here, and you find out that, oh yeah, that racial slur was actually used, that's a different matter than I was offended that someone said something that isn't actually offensive. And if it's that latter case of someone being offended by something that isn't actually offensive, the proper response should be their tuition is in threat, their attendance at the school is in threat, not that the person who said something that wasn't offensive.
Oh, we're getting some conflicting information in chat. Spudgun saying it's single party for in-person conversations, two party for telephone, and Valine saying that Connecticut has a two-party rule, but it could be limited in context. So
quickly check.
I think that the Steve Hughes rule should apply to being offended, which is no one cares. Go ahead, be offended. Nothing happens.
Yeah, that would be the ideal, but I'm saying that if anyone gets any punishment out of being offended, it should be the person taking offense from something that.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Well, I mean, even if this is America. Short of doing breaking the law, you should be able to say whatever offensive thing you want. Period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if that bothers you so badly, you can fuck off elsewhere. It's a free country. Go to Harvard, go to Columbia, go to Brown, Cornell. I hear they have a communist teaching law there that you might like.
Okay, so the way that it's written up, because I just pulled up the actual information on this, is really goddamn weird. So, in-person conversations, it is single-party consent.
Okay.
Telephone
that would cover what we been covering here because it was in person.
Telephone and electronic communications is split up into two different categories because there's the criminal aspect of it and then there's the civil aspect of it. So criminally, it is a single party consent state. So you cannot be charged with a crime for doing this. Civilly, civil penalties can be imposed if a call is recorded without first obtaining all parties' consent in either writing or verbally, which that verbal consent has to be recorded as well, or without a recorded warning that the conversation is being recorded. So it isn't a problem criminally, but you can still be sued civilly.
But that's for electronic communication.
That's for electronic and telephone.
Okay. But yeah, I just thought this was ridiculous, and I mean the thing that perked my ears up was that it was an Indian kid going through it, and it's like that oppression stack that everyone likes to joke about. It does seem like the Indians are the one blind spot.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope this goes back to bite Yale in the ass. I don't think it will, honestly, but I hope it does.
And Spudgun, the section that you just cited looks to be the sections that I'm citing as well. So there's the section, the 53A to 187 / then also 189 touches on this as well, is the single party consent when it comes to recording phone conversations. That covers the no criminal charges section. And then the other part is Connecticut, Gen State, 52 to 570D is the civil penalties part. So, like I said, it's a very weird setup where you can't be charged with a crime, but the person might be able to sue you. That's pretty fucking unique.
Well, that's really all I had today. It's just like, go fuck yourselves. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I wish that kid had just sat there and listened to all that and then just said that at the end. It's like, but then again, there's a reason why he's in law school and I'm not.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I do have another one. It's not as political as this one, as those ones were. Have you guys ever played any of the Suikoden series? The JRPG?
Can't say that I have.
JRPG game.
Say again?
You ever played any, like, what's called the Suikoden series?
I don't believe I have.
Okay. Staying into the theme of journalistic integrity. This one comes from Kotaku. Let's see. The last untranslated Suikoden game is finally playable in English.
Ah, nice.
Let's see here. Let's see. Thanks to a recent fan translation of a 9-year-old PlayStation Portable game, every installment of the Suikoden role-playing franchise is now available in English. Japanese words, or roughly Suikoden Woven Web of the Centuries, arrived on PlayStation Portable in early 2012. It's both the last game released in the fan-favorite role-playing series and the last Suikoden game to go untranslated in its native Japanese. And while it doesn't look like Konami is planning to return to the franchise anytime soon, English-speaking fans can finally play the game in a language they understand. You mean English?
No, it's not going to be in English. They're translating it to German.
I hope it has like movies that the movies that they can translate vocals to, and just have it just be like nuts.
See, now, after saying they translated it to German, I just get the image of them having translated it to another language, to translate it to another language, to translate it to another language, to finally translate it to English. And
I was
just how
I was just thinking of the "I know a little German" joke.
nice. He's right over there.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's not a heavy story. It is pretty interesting to me, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cool that they're translating that game. It's kind of like I'm hoping at some point. So, I've talked with Terry about the Yakuza series of games, and I've talked about it on stream. There's certain parts of the expanded Yakuza world that have not been translated. Like, there's a game series that still bears the Yakuza name, but it's Yakuza and then some other thing, and it's a side story, effectively, about different characters, and I want to say it's either in between 1 and 2 or 2 and 3. I could be wrong about which games it's in between. But it deals with a lot of the same characters, just a different start of or a different starring character in the game. And those haven't been translated to English. And, in fact, those can't be purchased outside of Japan currently.
Yeah. I'm happy to stick with playing as Kiryu anyway. He's fine. He's a good lead.
Yeah, Kiryu, and then... damn it, why am I blanking on his name? Yakuza 7 protagonist.
Yeah, I haven't played that, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So, I did like playing as...
Ichiban.
Okay. I did like playing as Majima as well.
Majima's fucking hilarious.
He is.
I have not played any of the Yakuza series.
You definitely should. They're very, very good games.
Though, play them in the right order, unlike me. Do not play 7, then 0, then 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that's the wrong way.
Yeah, that is the wrong way around. You will be somewhat confused. You'll still have a great time playing 7 if you do that way, but you will be somewhat confused because there will be characters that are getting introduced, and it is obvious you're supposed to be going, oh, hell yeah, that you're going, this is the first time that they're getting introduced in this game.
because I played Zero before I played One, and like Zero is actually like the sixth game.
Yep.
A lot of what was supposed to be like callbacks were like foreshadowing instead for me. It's like I knew nothing about, I forget the guy's name, Nishika, the guy that's like your brother in the orphanage. Nishikiyama.
Nishiyama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea who he was apart from what Zero told me, so I didn't have that same feeling of, oh hell yeah, this is the backstory to Yakuza 1. But then when I played Yakuza 1, it was like, oh hell yeah, I know the backstory to this guy.
Yeah. And like I said, the last time that we were talking about it, it included more than just Yakuza 1 things in it.
Yeah.
Like one of the random side jobs that you do not have to do in the game, but I did, has the main protagonist from Yakuza 2 as a punk kid stealing pants.
You mean the antagonist?
The antagonist, sorry. Yeah, the antagonist from Yakuza 2. As a punk kid running around stealing people's pants.
Yeah, when you mentioned it, it's like, I do remember that, but I never connected the two characters.
Yep. Yeah, because why the hell would you connect those characters when you're not realizing, wait, that was the name?
Mm.
Otherwise, it's just, okay, yeah, there's a kind of big lad with blonde hair, and, well, there's another big lad with blonde hair, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the same character, and then you remember the name, and you're going, oh, whoa. Wait, what the fuck? Is he still running around stealing pants?
One thing I did kind of miss from Yakuza 2 is the first one I played where they didn't have those giant guys where if you beat them up, you get a ton of money.
Yeah.
I forget what the in-game name of them was.
Shakedown.
That's him, yeah. Because in Yakuza 0, money is experience points. Like, that's how you level up. You buy new skills. And so I would just beat up Mr. Shakedown and then level up and then beat him up again. And it was just like, I kept making all this money because he gives you like millions and millions and millions every time you beat him.
If you really want to game the system, what you do is you beat up Mr. Shakedown several times. You make sure that you get the 1.5 times money from Mr. Shakedown.
Mm-hmm.
Then after you've beaten him like 2-3 times, you start losing to him every other fight.
Oh, I'm with you. Yeah.
All of your money. Then you beat him up and you get the money that he had, all the money that you had, times 1.5.
See, that's cool and all, but it's not really necessary because I made so much money just from buying the properties and collecting the rent on them.
Yep.
Like I would beat up Mr. Shakedown and then just buy properties, collect the rent, and then I'd have so much money I'd buy like 5 levels in different skills, and then just keep doing that. Just recycle, repeat the cycle.
Yeah, it is a hilarious cycle that I ended up maxing out the amount of money that you possibly can have. And then I sent all the money to Majima, and then I maxed out the amount of money that is possible to have again. While I was like level 53 of the legendary styles.
Yeah, I think Della would like Majima. He's got an eye patch. That's right up Della's alley.
He has an eye patch, and he likes to act like he's insane.
Yes. I did prefer Kiryu's fighting style to Majima's, but as a character, Majima is just like way more interesting.
Yeah. Kiryu's far more of stand up and fight.
Yeah.
Majima was all about dips and dodges.
Yes.
And just Okay, I'm doing something. Why? Oh god! Oh, I killed him. Okay.
I love that Majima killed someone for not laughing at his joke. No, he got hit in the head with like a baseball that he set up to shoot at Kiryu. It hit him in the head. Everyone starts laughing. He's at one guy and just kills him.
Well, not necessarily killed him. Just kicked the ever-living shit out of him.
Yes, I assumed fatally, but I guess that's not actually shown on screen.
And given how much Majima kind of dotes after his guys,
yeah,
while also kicking the shit out of them, I'm inclined to think he just beat him to within an inch of his life and then immediately went back to doting on him.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because, again, Majima, fucking insane in the best possible way.
Oh, yeah, he's a great character. And one thing that I only figured out by like reading on the internet is the honorifics, where Majima refers to him as Kiryu-chan, I think, which is like anyone else who called him that would get the living shit kicked out of them because it's like a diminutive for a little kid.
Yeah, the only other people that are able to get away with it are the pocket circuit.
And like, I know nothing of Japanese language or culture really, so I that would have been completely lost on me if I hadn't read the TV Tropes page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's the honorifics are really confusing if you aren't used to them. And apparently there's a shit ton more honorifics than most people know about. So
I'm not surprised.
Most people know about like the San, Sama, Chan, and Kun.
Yeah.
But there's a shit ton more than that. And Yakuza uses some of the rarer ones, like Han, which is the Kansai dialect of San. But yeah, there's apparently a hell of a lot of them, and all of them are like, okay, this one is above this one, but below this one, and this one is the same as that one, but it's different than this one, which is kind of the same as this one. So if you don't get used to them, it's just kind of a, okay, they're saying something.
Yeah. I only know anything like that because of the TV Tropes page, where they explicitly explained the insult of calling him Kiryu-chan or Kun or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the exact one, but it's the infantilizing
It's
one. Chan, right?
Kiryu-chan! Just screaming that as he goes through the city. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, I've not played any of the Yakuza games, but I have been watching the Man in the High Castle here lately, and it's made me want to go back and start learning Japanese again.
No,
It was surprisingly easy to start picking up when I was actually doing some like the language stuff.
I've been using Duolingo to learn it, and I mean I stopped after a while, but I've been meaning to go back, just haven't had time or energy.
I remember my dad used to tell me a story about my grandfather being in the Navy. How when he would go to he was in the Korean War, and he'd get some Liberty time or whatever in Japan. He said that him and his boys had a game they called Alley Commandos, where they'd go to all the whorehouses on the street or whatever, and they'd have a drink, and they'd start pressuring them to pick a girl. He said all you had to do is flick an ash on the carpet or something, and they'd get so offended they'd kick you out. You just go to the next place, just on down the street. He said by the time you got to the end of it, you had a free drunk. Because they'd all give you a drink and a smoke and whatnot, and try and make you feel at home at first.
Nice.
That's one of the only stories I have from my grandfather's time in the Navy.
See, to comment on something that Spudgun said, German is a language that I really like the sound of.
I don't think my vocal cords could tolerate that amount of.
Well, it depends on which form of German you learn. Because
it's also I don't want to learn Arabic either or Hebrew.
True. There's two main forms of German. There's Low German and High German. And if I remember correctly, I always swap these two, so I always have trouble remembering. I think it's High German is the Ich one, whereas Low German is the Ish one. And the Ish one sounds much better than the Ich one. But
yes,
I like the sound of both of them. It is an absolute son of a bitch to learn, though, because we treat German as one language and like it's been one language for the longest period of time. No. German is like 10 languages that were all mashed together to be one language in the most Prussian manner that they possibly could. Which is why there's a bunch of weird exceptions. Because, well, this word sounds like this word, but yeah, they're from entirely different languages at the beginning. They've just been combined into the same. So this is the way that you deal with that word. This is the way that you deal with that word. It's kind of like small-scale English in that way.
And Spudgun wants you to scream, "I love you" in German. Sanguine.
If I remember correctly, it's Ich liebe dich in the one, and then it's Ich liebe dich in the low, or in the soft one. I think those are the two phrases.
Yeah, I will just assume that you're right.
Well, I mean, since we're on the subject of like German, Japanese, and everything, like I said, I have been watching Man in the High Castle lately, and I'm surprised that one didn't catch on as much as like what was that one that they kept doing with Trump, the Handmaid's Tale. You know, I'm surprised that they didn't make more reference to the Man in the High Castle with all the Trump and Nazi shit they were spewing the past few years.
Well, the problem is the Man in the High Castle's better written.
I mean, I've not actually sat down and read Philip K. Dick, but I've seen enough of his work adapted that, yeah, I'd probably agree with you on that.
Yeah. So it doesn't have quite the same appeal as the trash feminist dystopia.
I think also the fact that it wasn't just Nazis, it was also the Japanese winning too. They're like, I don't know if we could really go with that.
Yeah, it was the full-blown Axis powers had won.
Yeah, but I've noticed they didn't mention shit about Italy.
Well, that's because Italy was effectively consumed by Germany.
Well, no, like they've made no reference to Mussolini or anything. Like it's like Italy just doesn't fucking exist in this story, or at least in the Amazon adaptation.
Italy gets pizza and pasta. They get a pass.
Is it that they took it up after effectively Germany became in charge of Italy during World War II? Is that when they said that the swap happened and Germany was able to win the war again?
Well, no, like so far, like I said, I've only seen the show, and I'm only part of the way through it. I'm like on season 3. I think it's got either 4 or 5 seasons. But in this story, the Nazis drop an atomic bomb on Washington, D.C. Like I said, there's no mention really of Italy. Like there's only one character that they say anything about being Italian, and that's just a cover identity for him. So it doesn't really come up at all so far that I've seen. And I've been sitting here watching. I've really enjoyed it because of a lot of the actors they have on the Japanese side. Like they've got oh shit, what's his name? I have to look it up because I can never remember it. Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa. He played Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
He has an excellent role in this show as the Japanese trade minister.
Does he ever say your soul is mine?
Unfortunately, no.
I'm not watching it then.
No, he's.
You don't know yet. Is it still going? There's still time, right?
I don't know. When did this originally come out? Oh, no, this was from 2015 to 2019. So it has ended its run. So it's got 40 episodes. So I think, only 4 seasons, I think, because it's 10 episodes a season.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he has been excellent. I've enjoyed every scene I've seen him in. A lot of it because, it's not Shang Tsung Mortal Kombat. There's an actual character there.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll always be Shang Tsung to me. Like he even does the voice for the game. Like after they did the movie, they kept him as the voice actor for the games.
Nice.
Have you guys seen the movie 47 Ronin?
I've heard of it. I've never actually seen it.
With Keanu Reeves.
I've played a game where I play as Agent 47. He's not a Ronin.
So how many? Just out of curiosity, completely off topic, Johnny, but how many alt accounts did you sign into to try and get this poll even?
I noticed that too.
The no's still have it.
Well, the yeses have had it for a while.
Well, last time I saw it, the yeses were ahead, but order has been restored.
Yeah. Johnny had to burn all of his sock accounts to try and get it that close.
I still got a couple more. Let's not forget Lord Meowington. It still has his account going.
Nice. I have not seen 47 Ronin.
It's got Keanu Reeves in it. It was one of the. It was pre the white savior complaint.
Mm-hmm.
So was this before or after The Last Samurai?
This was after.
After?
Yeah.
I actually did enjoy that movie with Tom. It's one of the few Tom Cruise movies I actually enjoy.
But Shang Tsung, he plays the Emperor, and even though he's not really in like a lot of the movie, like the parts that he in, it's really good. Like he's got a pretty commanding presence.
Mm-hmm. See, every time that I think about samurai movies, I just go straight back to the classics when I think about them. I'm talking Sanjuro and Yojimbo. And
Yojimbo is my favorite movie.
Have you seen Sanjuro as well?
Once you summon Yojimbo, you got to give him all your money to make him attack. He's like the worst summon in Final Fantasy X.
Have you seen Sanjuro as well?
I haven't seen Sanjuro.
So Sanjuro and Yojimbo are the same character in different stories.
Really?
Yep. They're both what is it? Tsubaki Sanjuro. I don't think he's named in Yojimbo.
No, he's just a wanderer.
Just the Wanderer, yeah. But it is the same exact character. And played by the same actor, Toshiro Mifune. So if you like Yojimbo, then I recommend checking out Sanjuro, since it's more of the same character.
And if you liked... Oh, God, what the hell is that one? What the hell is that Bruce Willis movie?
Yeah, you're going to be a little more specific than that, man.
It's the one that was based off of Yojimbo.
Die Hard?
No.
Die Hard 2?
I'm trying to remember it as well.
There's more to Bruce Willis.
Standing.
There's
Last Man Standing.
Last Man Standing. There's more to Bruce Willis Then Die Hard.
Are you sure?
Let's not forget. I think at one time he was a stand-up. Him and
He was also a singer.
Him and
Die
Michael
Hard
Keaton.
and Pulp Fiction. There's two.
And Michael Keaton.
Yeah, it was Last Man Standing was the Bruce Willis one that actually did acknowledge that it was based off of Yojimbo. And then, can you remember the other movie that is also based off Yojimbo, but did not give credit to it being based off Yojimbo?
I'll take that as a no.
I'm going to guess it's a Clint Eastwood movie.
It is. Which one?
The Outlaw Josie Wales.
One of those spaghetti westerns, I have to assume.
I'll just say the good, the bad, and the ugly.
I think it was
A Fistful of Dollars.
Oh, see, if I trust my instinct and answered before them, I would have been right.
Yeah, it was A Fistful of Dollars. Was the straight rip of Yojimbo, and by straight rip, I mean there are scene for scene,
Just beat for beat.
beat for beat. Everything is the same except substitute guns for samurai swords.
Was there a gay rip as well?
What's the director's name? Sergio
Leone.
Shit. Leone, yeah.
Yeah. And that one did not credit Yojimbo as its inspiration, though it is obvious that it was inspired by Yojimbo, because like I said, it is beat for beat, and not just beat for beat, but there are straight up shots that are taken and repeated in A Fistful of Dollars that were from Yojimbo. Like, you know the famous scene where it's a dog running with the hand in its mouth?
Mm-hmm.
That's a straight rip from Yojimbo.
Well, you know what they say, Sanguine. Good artists borrow and great artists steal.
Yep. But yeah, Last Man Standing is the Bruce Willis during the Prohibition era.
Yeah, but if you liked that movie, you'd actually feel more appreciative of Yojimbo.
Mm-hmm.
They had one of the group homes I was working at my previous job. They had a Toshiro Mifune birthday party. So they played a whole bunch of hit movies that he was in for the classic movies.
Mm-hmm. And then, but one of the others, of course, that I always think back to when I think classic samurai movies and just amazing samurai movies is Seven Samurai.
Yeah.
Which, again, has Toshiro Mifune playing a similarly rough, but not as polished samurai in that one. And his character in that is amazing, especially in the final battle. Everyone else has their one weapon that they've prepped. He's just run around the entire village, dropping swords in various locations. In case I get disarmed and I need a weapon, one will be here, one will be here, three will be here. So those movies I can highly recommend to anyone who hasn't seen them.
Yeah, I think if there was ever going to be a director I would be a PA for, it would be Kurosawa.
Mm-hmm. His full-color movies weren't as good as his black and whites, though.
I've never considered being a production assistant for any director, so just guess I haven't found one that just makes me want to work that badly.
And Johnny, if you like Kurosawa movies, can you name the first time that he used color in any of his movies?
I couldn't tell you.
It is in the movie High and Low. So, in the story of High and Low, it's I want to say, owner of a massive shoemaking shop, effectively. They do shoes as well as a handful of other leather goods. Exceedingly wealthy or supposedly exceedingly wealthy at the time of the story, because it's kind of in that bubble era. The early bubble, not the late bubble. And his son gets kidnapped, or someone tries to kidnap his son, ends up kidnapping the wrong kid, but he then still is dealing with all the issues. So it follows around the police officers. The father is played by Toshiro Mifune. And the first use of color from any of his things was they knew that the kidnapper would try to get rid of the case that the money was given to them in, and they wanted a way of being able to track it. So they sewed several different, effectively, pills into the lining of this suitcase, so that when someone tried to burn the suitcase, it would produce pink smoke, and they'd be able to figure out where the person threw the suitcase. So, in an entirely black and white movie, except for one thing, there's smoke rising up out of a chimney, and you see it as pink smoke. They went back in and colorized just the smoke pink. Yeah, it was a weird thing. That it was a good movie, but yeah, that was his first use of color. Was pink smoke in High and Low. I got real big into Kurosawa movies at one point.
I think you get very into everything at some point.
Well, I've explained my origin to you guys, haven't I?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's why I'm saying it.
Yeah. I'm what you get when you tell a Spurg, can't you talk about anything else? And they take that to heart.
I see Spud Gun and Valine are talking about airplanes in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not paying any attention to that conversation.
Well, I was just seeing what chat was talking about because I don't know shit about Japanese film, so.
No, me neither.
Unfortunately, talking about something else I don't know anything about. So
I did make a terrible joke, but no one in chat acknowledged it. So I think they're too focused on their discussion.
And Spudgun, the long and short of my origin story is, I'm a Spurg, and one of the traits of being a Spurg is you get effectively obsessive interests in various topics. I would get those interests and just start talking about them. And I got told a bunch of times, I got asked a bunch of times, can't you talk about anything else? So I started learning about other things. And I would get an obsessive interest. And I just kept on jumping from obsessive interest to obsessive interest to obsessive interest. So now I can talk about a fairly good sweep of different topics. Because I've had my Spurg moments in those topics.
See, I'm a bit the same in that I'll just find something that I just lose myself in. I just don't talk to other people about it because I just assume they're not interested. So unless someone brings up, Pokemon, for instance, and then I can talk about Pokemon, but I'm not going to be like, hey, you want to talk Pokemon? Like, no. If it comes up,
I never asked if they wanted to talk about it. I just would start talking about it.
I did have a moment this last weekend. My sister's wedding was last weekend. And she had sort of... The wedding was on Saturday. And that she had kind of an after, let's feed everyone. There will be drinks and stuff. And then there was a reception on Sunday. for the actual wedding. And on Sunday, since it was casual, I didn't have to dress up or anything. I simply just wore my Legend of Zelda shirt just because it happened. It's the most comfortable shirt I have. One of them, at least. And my stepdaughter had been in town for the time because she had an appointment the next day. And we were sitting there, we were trying to get food ordered. And this guy raises the glass to me, and I just notice it, and he points to my shirt, gives me the thumbs up, and I'm like, oh, great. And my stepdaughter was like, what? And I'm like, I just got nerd tagged.
Nice.
And she goes, what do you mean? I'm like, you'll see in about 10 seconds. And I saw him like walk over, and I'm like, oh, fuck. And so I had him just stand next to her mom. I'm like, this is how this goes. And he comes over and he goes, oh my God, have you ever played this? And I'm just like, yeah, no, I don't care. Like, just leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it. I have the shirt. Shut up. Go away.
And I just crushed someone's hopes and dreams that day.
Pretty much.
Oh.
They thought they were making a friend.
Yeah.
Oh no, I crushed somebody's hopes and possibly a chance for me to make some money not too long ago with a shirt. I walked into my local corner shop to get some smokes and something to drink, and the cashier saw me. I was wearing a Leonard Skinner T-shirt, and he thought it was like an authentic, original T-shirt. I was like, no, I got this at Penny's. You know. He's like, he's looking like I'd like to buy that band T-shirt if you like, dude, I got this at Penny's. You could buy this probably anywhere.
You fool! What
Yeah.
You say absolutely how much?
Yeah, I should have.
And then you make sure that you make a profit on having to buy yourself another shirt.
But see, that's the problem there, though, is that half the T-shirts in my closet are old band T-shirts that I got at Penny's, and I don't want to lose half my wardrobe by walking in there every time that dude be like, "Hey, man, how much for that Queen T-shirt?" You know?
No.
How much for that Journey shirt? No, dude.
You have to think a bit broader. It all depends on how much money he's willing to pay for those shirts. Because, yeah, you don't want to lose half your wardrobe for $20 a pop. But if he's paying $150, $200, north of that, then you're probably going to start going, okay, I won't wear this one, and this one, because those are my three favorites. The rest of you sons of bitches, yeah, let's go to the fucking corner store with this.
Yeah, I mean, I only got one authentic tour T-shirt, and that's from the Tool 10,000 Days tour back in 06, 07. And that thing's so worn out, the neckline is frayed, and a lot of the color is kind of starting to wash out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I suppose I could have just gone all highbrow and oh yeah, man, this is I got this T-shirt from my uncle. He got this when Skinner was on tour, the tour that they ended up dying on. It'll be $300.
Yeah, just absolutely bullshit your way to the bank.
Well, see, that's the problem. That's the reason why I could never get into politics. I have morals and ethics.
Yeah.
And I just know that karma would come and bite me in the ass if I ripped somebody off for a T-shirt. That would weigh on me. When's the other shoe gonna drop? Because I accidentally in college I accidentally did rip somebody off, and I felt bad for it. I'd signed up for a sign language class, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I started taking this class. I buy the book, which is only I don't even remember how much it costs now. It wasn't that much.
Mm-hmm.
And come to find out there had been an error in, whichever department handled, classes you applied for. And so I was put in a speech class that I never showed up for, and I was sitting there taking sign language, and they finally, got me hip to the problem. Like, yeah, well, I guess I'll go ahead and drop out of that speech class, and I'm not getting credit for the sign language class, so I'm not going to continue on. And somebody else like, oh, well, I was thinking about taking sign language next semester. I'll go ahead and buy the book off you. I got it mixed up with one of my other books, and I charged like $100. I ran into that dude at a party like a few weeks later. He's like, you ripped me the fuck off, dude. That book's only like, I don't know, 20 or 30 or whatever. It was like, my bad. He's like, so you can give me my money back? It's like, your money's gone, dude. What do you think I'm drinking right now?
I was about to say, your money's gone. What do you think we're drinking?
So, yeah. Oh, I'm not saying I'm not a youngin'. But yeah, this dude just didn't know any better. So...
All right.
I love how they're still doing the translations for emails in chat.
Yeah, we're hitting about the 2-hour time, so parting thoughts, Terry?
Thanks to Della, I got started playing Pokemon Stadium again. Holy fuck, I forgot how hard it is with those shitty rentals. So, yeah.
I don't think I played.
Don't do it.
I don't think I played Pokemon Stadium since like N64.
Well, that's what it's on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm saying it's been that long that I played it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now my kid likes playing it. Usually. Yeah, I usually pick just random Pokemon because I don't know shit about those things. So.
I have to see if I can go dig up like an old N64 console and storage or something. I might still have that.
I can recommend an emulator.
I mean, sure, but I guess my parting thought would be, don't apologize for anything unless you're absolutely sure you should apologize for it. Don't send off any emails or anything like that until you're sure you should apologize for it. And watch The Man of the High Castle. It's been good so far.
I only made it through partway the first season. I kind of got.
And people are requesting that we go another few hours.
You know, if I didn't have to work tomorrow, I would be okay with that.
Yeah, if I didn't have to run Nana Camel to an early appointment in the morning, I'd be fine with it too. But
All right, and Sanguine?
I'll leave off with my standard of if you're passionate about something, make sure that you devour it. Don't let it devour you.
Nice. And being as I can't think of anything, and I can't verify the ones I'm looking for, I'll go with the classic Daffy Duck line. I don't like pain. It hurts me.
duck season.
I'm ending the poll. You guys can relish in your victory for a while, so. But on that note...
Relish absolutely does not go on pizza. That is where I will draw a line.
No. No way.
What doesn't?
Relish.
I mean, relish is pickles, and pickles are evil, so yeah, no relish.
But yep, the no's have it. Whatever, you guys are wrong.
The correct opinion won, as it should.
But on that note, the zoo is closed.
Bye, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good night, all.
And pineapple does belong on pizza.
You're wrong.